My name is Zack Howard. I will be playing the role of Frank Abagnale Jr. in Spreckles Performing Arts Center's production of Catch Me If You Can, the musical.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Zach. And who is and what is Frank Abagnale Jr.?
Frank Abagnale Jr. is a confused kid going through a tough breakup of his parents, really doesn't know who he is in the world, and so because he doesn't really have any sense of self, he decides to adopt a series of other things. So he sends himself through the ringer of, impersonating pilots, doctors, lawyers. He goes through 10, 15 different names, and all pretty much because he's running from the truth. And that is that he's just a scared kid, and he doesn't know what to do with himself when his parents split up, so his brain takes over, and in a matter of self-defense, he just kind of lets himself slide into this grander and grander delusion.
Right. Does he not want to be Frank anymore?
Doesn't really want to be Frank anymore.
Because Frank has a...
Frank's nobody. But, Frank William Taylor, he's a pilot. Frank Black, he's a doctor. There's so much more to that than just being a scared 16-year-old kid.
And what's his relationship to his dad?
He idolizes his dad, at least at first. His dad means the world to him. He's raised him to be, a strong man. And then, as the story progresses and he gradually sees, his dad kind of fall into the same, at least a similar pit of despair that he's finding himself in, it just starts to kind of crumble around him.
Right.
And it's a rather heartbreaking story, actually.
And so his dad is a guy that has big ideas but fails, and Frank Jr. is a guy that has ideas and wins.
Yeah, he's got big ideas and the intelligence and the know-how to follow through on him, even though eventually he does get caught because he started to let himself slip.
And what's the relationship with the FBI guy, Mr. Hanratty?
Mr. Hanratty is... Hanratty is kind of he's a bit of a loner, not a particularly social guy, and he is obsessed with his job, like a lot of cops are, and he basically dedicates his entire existence to catching this one guy, and so there are a lot of parallels between Frank and Hanratty, because Frank is obsessed with being anything other than himself, and Hanratty is obsessed with anything that gets him away from himself. And so he uses that and just kind of tunnel visions on catching Frank, because at the end of the day, Hanratty doesn't really want to look at his own life either.
Right.
So, and
did you ever see the film?
I did. I'm a huge fan of the story itself. I've done a lot of research into the actual Frank Abagnale Jr.
Right.
And while the stories are similar, his story actually is quite a bit more interesting to me. It's a little darker as well, so that's probably why they take a little artistic liberty with the show. So,
and with the film.
And with the film, yeah.
Is this your first musical?
This is not my first musical. This would be...
I believe you might have been in Scrooge.
I was Bob Cratchit in Scrooge. I was Mordred in Camelot here. And I was Warner in Legally Blonde here. And before that, I was just ensemble in My Fair Lady, and that was my first show ever. So that was just a couple of years ago. I'm still a baby.
You mentioned in your bio that you sang background for your father.
Yes.
On his solo album. Who was your father, or who is your father?
My dad is Jeffrey Howard, and he's still a musician, but he hasn't. He stopped really being a professional musician, I suppose, and about the same time that that album was released, about 91, 92, he got a record deal with Capitol, and the guy who was running him through the motions, I guess, just was this total sleazeball and totally turned my dad just off of the whole music industry. And so he went his own way and, focused on bringing me up. And so there was always music, but that was kind of the last time. He was the front man for an 80s hair metal band called Desperate Angel.
So what did you get from your dad?
Let's see.
A voice?
Actually, I don't know where my voice came from, to be quite honest. My mom isn't musical at all. My dad is a brilliant guitarist and songwriter, but never really fancied himself a singer, even though he does. I was probably 24 or 25. One day, apparently, I just woke up and could sing. Like, I was a terrible vocalist
You had a visitation.
for a very long time. Like, I knew a bit about music, And I mean, I'm a saxophone player, so music has always been in my life. I'm a sax player for 20 years now, but vocally, I was never really anything to write home about. And then suddenly, I could just sing. Don't know what happened. No training. Just one day I couldn't. One day I could.
Don't even think about it. Just do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what's next for you?
Oh, next for me. When the show closes, I've got some things to wrap up as far as business goes, and then I'm off to Sweden. So,
Really?
yeah.
To study or
No, just
just
cause.
spend some time?
Yeah. My girlfriend and I are just going to Sweden, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, just to get out of America for a while. No, there's no shows in my future or anything like that. Just the standard, regular old
But you don't want to
day-to-day
stop
grind.
here, do you?
I don't want to stop there at all. No, but as far as I'm aware, there's just nothing that I'm aware of yet. I
Okay.
guess.
And you seem to like working at Spreckles.
I really do. It's a great theater. It's beautiful. The people that tend to frequent the shows here, as far as the talent goes, they're really great people. Gene is a fantastic director. Mary Jo is an excellent stage director, stage manager rather. And there's just a lot of really good people.
You enjoyed
I do. I
doing
enjoyed it quite a
productions
bit.
here. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And good luck with the show. You got another 3 weeks rehearsal.
Yeah, it's coming together. We just pulled the whole first act together in 1 week, so I'm fairly confident that we're going to have a hell of a show on our hands here.
Don't peak too early.
Nope.
Okay, good luck to you.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome.